It's about time to get this thing going.
Hey, welcome back. If you've been following the channel, you know I have this 72 Ironhead that's been sitting in the garage for a couple of years now. And I decided at the beginning of this year, over the winter, that if I didn't do something with it this year, I'm just going to sell it to somebody who will. And as they say, it's time to get her done. Now, I've never built a motorcycle before. I'm not terribly mechanically inclined, but I have Google and I have you. You know, I started thinking, what would happen if you completely community sourced a motorcycle build? If everybody had a hand in it, so to speak. I mean, my thought is, you know, I'm a chopper head, so I really like that classic 70s look chopper. Not too outrageous, but laid back. Here's a couple pictures of what I'm thinking, something along these lines. Obviously, these aren't all 72 Ironheads, but the look is about right. You get a sense of what I'm looking at. So I guess the first place I have to start is the frame. Now, it's really hard in South Carolina to get a title for an unserial numbered bike. So back when I was shooting that motorcycle shoot with my buddy Jake Silver, who has built a ton of motorcycles, I was talking about the 72, and he suggested that I cut the frame and just put a hardtail kit on it. That way I keep the serial number up front. One of the things I really don't like about this bike are these shocks. It's a matter of personal preference, but I think they're kind of ugly. And for the price it's going to cost me to replace them, I can replace the entire back end. Thinking about it now, if I replace the entire back end, I have to get welding done because I don't weld. But if I replace the shocks, it's just shocks. I'll have to give that some thought. What do you think? Everybody told me I shouldn't go with a hardtail anyways. Overall, the bike is a little bit short for me, I think. So that might be an advantage to getting another rear end welded onto it. I might be able to stretch that out a little bit, I guess. Now, whether I put a different back end on it or not, I'm going to have to get all this old paint off. I know there's a bunch of products out there that'll do that kind of thing. I just saw a video the other day on some stuff that'll take it off pretty well. I don't really want to mess with the harsh chemicals, but you know, you do what you got to do, right? My only concern is that I run into powder coating underneath, because my understanding is that that doesn't really take off powder coating very well. So I guess the first step, get the frame worthy, and might as well do the tank at the same time. Get the frame ready, strip it. If I'm going to change the back end, then do that. And then put a coat of primer on it just to keep it from rusting out in the meantime. There's no brake on this front end, and I definitely want to put one of those on it. It would be nice to go all clean up front, but in Charleston with all the traffic, I'd really feel a whole lot better with a front brake. I just noticed that this has that same, I don't know what kind of coating that is. It's almost like gray speckles that's all over the engine block. I really think I want to get rid of that. I don't know if that makes sense to just try and get that stripped off, or if it just makes sense to replace it. What do you think? I originally wanted to pull the starter off of it and go kickstart. I wanted to pull the battery off and do a magneto. But people are starting to change my mind about the electric start. Now, it wouldn't be bad to go both if I could do that. I don't even know if I can do that. I think so. Of course, I assume that means if I do electric start, I have to have a battery on it. So that changes all of those plans. Now, the good news is that I probably have those parts already, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I just really wanted to keep it a simple, basic machine, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that. Definitely going to have to get tires, but it's way too early in the game for that. You know, I could drop this swing arm off and just put new shocks on. It's changing plans already. I do love this tank. It's massive. I like the idea of being able to fill up once for the life of the bike. So what do you think? I am absolutely interested in your input. Am I headed down the right path? Do you have any suggestions, any recommendations? Spare parts? It'd be cool to ride this up to the Smokeout next year. Thanks for joining me. I have to get inside because it is actually starting to rain. Appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.